Hi. What? No, you know what? I don't want to do I know it's. Sorry, it's just on my phone. It's like 4. It's 4 a.m. It's 4 a.m. And I'm having I'm very depressed right now. So, earlier. Like. So, a month ago, I. I asked my landlord if I could get rid of my long dresser because I didn't want it. My room was pre-furnished, and he said I can take it out. So I did. The next day he comes tells me, "Why did you throw out my dresser?" I explained to him I misunderstood. I thought you said I asked if I could get rid of it. I thought it was understood that meant I could throw it out. He said I should have left it in the living room for someone else to take it. Because I rent a room in a townhouse and I didn't know that. So it was damaged from the rain we had. We had a lot of rain and the drawers were missing. So I didn't know he bought that. And I've been living here for 3 years. And 3 months after I moved in, like the room had it was furnished, right? It had 3 dressers, it had a futon bed, and the wooden frame would become a couch. So 3 months after moving in, the main beam in the couch bed thing broke. I tried using a metal clamp to hold it together, and it worked for 2 months. Then other beams started breaking, and it was just causing me a lot of back pain. And as some of you probably know, when I moved into this place, I was coming out of a very abusive place, staying with my dad for a while and his wife. It was really hell for me. I was mentally abused, emotionally abused by her. I got sent to the hospital because I'd have massive panic attacks. I kind of had a disconnect at one. It was like a miniature coma. And like not an hour after that, my dad sent me and my brother to a homeless shelter because it wasn't working out with him. He calls us next day. He says, "Are you ready to try again? See how bad things could be?" So I wasn't in the right state of mind moving in here. So I was scared. I was terrified. Like, oh my god, it broke. I I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna be doing. I don't know what to do. Because I was afraid to tell my landlord that it broke because I didn't want to get kicked out. I didn't want to go back to those people. I didn't want to go through that stuff again. Because I couldn't do that anymore. All the stuff that they were doing, I couldn't do it. My dad he just let it happen. He's just like, let her do whatever the fuck she wanted to do. It wasn't anything physical. She did hit my brother. But, like, if. So, my panic attack things, it's part of Asperger's PTSD combo because of other stuff. So, when I have my meltdowns, I'm crying, I'm shaking, I'm verbally non coherent, and I was on the ground having one of my things. And she was yelling and screaming and cursing at me, cursing my mom, cursing her, saying my mom's a dead bitch, that her spirit's haunting everyone, and all kinds of shit. And I couldn't handle any of that. Hearing people talk about my mom like that. So all I remember is Charlie's like, "Fuck you, bitch," and she screamed and she yelled even louder. She like threatened at me, waving arms in front of me, and all the time I went into a seizure because the stress and all that stuff went too high, and I couldn't handle it. So I went into seizure. My brother, he helped me up here. Like, he held me up after the lady ran into her room to call our dad. My brother helped me up. Like, it wasn't like a real seizure. It's like a pseudo seizure. So my brother helped me up. He helped me walk out of the house. Helped walk down the street. Called the police. They came. I was kind of better, but not really too responsive. But I could walk. I could kind of like nod and stuff. The police go there to keep her in the house. I take a step and I black out. And I woke up in a hospital with a catheter in me. Apparently, I don't know, they say I was responding to stuff, but I don't remember any of that stuff. So, as far as I know, I just completely blacked out of that. And I don't know how long I was in that. And then I woke up. No, an hour after I woke up, my dad took me and my brother to, I think, McDonald's, and he was taken to a homeless shelter that day because I called his wife a bitch. So, he's not a good person. He's a very bad person. And so, sorry. The main part is moving into this place. I was coming out of that kind of a place. And I moved in here 2014, I think. Or 2015. I'm not sure when I moved in here. I know I started Publix in 2014. So I think I moved in here either late 2014 or early 2015. My mom had just died in 2012, so, and I hadn't gone through any kind of therapy, any kind of grieving, or anything like that. Just so that's the PTSD. I lost a lot of things in 2012. I lost my mom. I lost my two cats. And in 2013, we had to live in the Stone Mountain, Georgia. Living off life insurance. Couldn't get jobs. Had to convince my dad, convince his wife to let him come take us down to Florida because we were getting kicked out. I had to leave another cat. When Salem died, I was very depressed. I did try to kill myself. In a stupid way, I tried to touch a car battery. I thought that would do it. So, I found a cat. I'm just remembering Hunter now. Sorry, Hunter was the other cat that passed away the same year. We think he had leukemia. He, normal healthy cat weight. I don't know why I'm looking at my underwear. Just normal cat weight, wasted away. One day he fell down the stairs because he was still trying to be a cat. He was still trying to do cat stuff. He could barely walk. He was shaky, but he was still trying to do stuff. He was trying to be Hunter. And he would greet people at the stairs, at the top of the stairs. And he came to greet me. He fell down the stairs and I called him. He was just like, I don't know, he's just a bag of bones. That's all he was. And Salem passed shortly after Hunter. Hunter, he died one morning with a very loud, very painful meow. And I remember that. I didn't know what it was. I know my mom was freaking out and she was crying. I couldn't get out of my room because, well, I lost it. And my mom took him to the vet. She said that the vet said it was a blood clot. Blood clot had hit his brain at that point, and he was brain dead. He was breathing, but he was dead. So they put him down. 2 months later, my cat Salem, my black kitty, who I had since I was 7, he wasn't eating. He wasn't moving much. He just wasn't himself. So I begged my mom to take him to the vet. His liver was dying. My baby was dying. And I had to put him down. I had to ask the vet to put him down because we didn't have the money to help him. And I didn't want to go like Hunter, so save him. He died. The vet missed the puncture. He had to put the needle in again, and Salem meowed. It was a painful meow, so the last thing I heard of him was he was in pain. Because of me. And 3 months after that, I found a cat in the neighbor's yard playing. And he was having fun, he was killing leaves. I joked with my mom about getting him, and I ended up tricking him into coming to my house. I closed the door behind him, and that's when I got Ani. And that's when my mom got sick. She had an infected blister. She was trying to treat. She couldn't treat anymore. She went to the hospital. They put on antibiotics. IV antibiotics. She was at home for months with an IV. I'd hear her crying every night, and I couldn't do anything about it. And after months of this, my brother comes back. He comes back to live with us again. That's all good. And my mom goes to the hospital to get a wound debridement, to take the infected stuff out and bandage up the wound and all that. She was there for 3 days. On the third day, we got a call from the hospital. She died. And Mom died at the hospital from a blister. A blister on her foot. They said it was a pulmonary embolism, and she died on an operating table when they were sewing her up. The death certificate said it was necrotizing fasciitis, flesh-eating bacteria of the left foot. We hired lawyers, pro bono. It took them months to get evidence from the nurse's notes and all that. We couldn't find jobs. We had $20,000 to live off of. And we didn't know what was going on. We were late on rent because we didn't have the money. We had to pawn a lot of stuff off. And the attorneys tell us they're dropping the case because they can't prove exactly who did it and exactly when. They gave us the evidence disc, and I looked through it, and according to the nurse's notes, my mom was complaining about the machine beeping a lot. And they came in, they turned off the machine, my mom went to sleep, and she died. She died in her sleep. So I'm kind of happy about that. She wasn't aware of it, but she was just thinking she was getting better. She was thinking it was good. Every time she was in the hospital, she'd call, check on us, check if we called work saying she was going to be out that day. She had no plans of being dead. In her mind, she was going to get better and go back to Walmart. And I looked at the notes and all that stuff. They found that during her third day at Grady Memorial Hospital in Georgia, she got the flesh-eating virus in the hospital, and it progressed fast up to her abdomen, and someone punctured her liver. That's what killed her. Someone was careless, and they stabbed her in the liver. So that's what happened to my mom. And they try to cover it up with this. They try to say this happened. No, this happened. Someone fucked up. And then statute of limitations passed. We couldn't do anything about it. All we knew is they fucked up and they got away with it. So couldn't get jobs. We were getting kicked out of Stone Mountain. I had to convince our dad to help us because we didn't know what to do. And the way I had to do it, I had to convince his wife to be on our side. I had to destroy anything that had my mom's image on it. Anything my mom gave us. And while they were there, I had to dump my mom's ashes into the dirt and throw away her urn while they watched. So I hate them. I want them dead. I know it's a bad thing that you want someone dead, but I don't understand how these people can be alive right now after all this shit. It's not right. And I had to leave Arnie in Stone Mountain. He's in Georgia. I'm in Florida. I had to leave him. My little baby kitty. And we went down to Florida. We stayed with him for like 8 months. And all that stuff, I'd be going to Henderson all the time. Henderson is a mental health clinic, a walk-in clinic, a crisis center. Because of all the stuff they were doing. Mostly his wife. I don't want to say her name because I really hate her. And all that stuff, I was still suffering from my mom, from the cats, from losing Arnie. And this person treating me like that. After everything I had done. I've never experienced that kind of evil from a person. I've never had that. I've been bullied as a child. I've never had that kind of treatment. So, my face is horrible right now. So, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing right now. I moved here, right? I got out. I got a job. I worked a few months. I got out. So I was scared. The bed frame broke, right? Right, the bed frame that was here. I tried fixing it. I tried using a clamp on it. That only lasts for 2 months. And during that time, I tried okay, I don't know what to do. I don't want to tell my landlord it's broken because I don't know what he'll do. I don't want to be kicked out. I don't want to go back to those people. I don't want to be homeless. I don't know any of this stuff. I don't know what I'm doing. And while I was doing this, my thyroid was shutting down. I have Hashimoto's disease. So I was having trouble moving at work. I was having trouble thinking right. And I was having back pains from the broken frame. So one day I couldn't move at work. I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything. I was in a lot of pain. I was sick. I was like throwing up a bit. So they called an ambulance. They came, they picked me up. And I was in a hospital for a few days where they did tests on me. And it turns out I had hypothyroidism because of Hashimoto's disease. Also type 2 diabetes. So Hashimoto's disease is an autoimmune disease when your immune system kills your thyroid. Your thyroid regulates your metabolism. You know, the thing that gives you energy to your body, that breaks down food, all that stuff. That's why I couldn't move. My body was starving to death because it couldn't get any energy. My metabolism was almost zero. I was almost to the point where I would have gone into a coma. So, there's that. Another time I almost died. 2012 I almost died. Right after my mom died. I had a hernia. Massive one. One that was strangulated and granule hernia. My intestine went into my scrotum, wrapped around my testicle, and it was going to burst. So I would have died from sepsis in 5 hours, according to the doctor. I had to go through that. I had to be on antibiotics in December 2012 because I had pneumonia. I was on moxifloxacin. I'm allergic, apparently. And at this time, we were moving to Stone Mountain, frantically trying to get things together. And I was going through severe reactions of moxifloxacin, which are all psychological. Like hallucinations, nightmares, terror, paranoia, depression, anxiety. Just a whole host of horrible things. And at that time, the power was shut off in our mom's house. We had no heat, no lights, and I was going through that in the dark. Cold. I still remember it, and it still scares me, because I remember everything that was going on right then. And I moved. Sorry, I'm not on track, okay? This is just how I work things out. I don't stay on one topic very long. So all that happened right here. All that, 2012 to the end of 2014. 2 years of living hell. Well, 3 years if you count the years leading up to Hunter's death. Hunter was the first one to die. It took him like a year and like a half a year or so to die. So 3 years of watching my loved ones just die. And I couldn't do anything about it. And I found out by looking at one of the videos that I took of the cats. It was my fault. It was my fault. There was a area under the second story deck in the backyard that was like just, dirt. The cats liked that area. But a week before, like I let them go on there, right? But a week before that, I put ant poison down there because we had ants, and my mom wanted the ants gone, so I put the ant powder down. It killed the ants; they were gone. So there was no ants there. So I let the cats back down there. A week later, apparently it takes more than a week for that stuff to get out of the ground, and the cats like to roll in the dirt. So I killed Hunter. I didn't mean to. I didn't know that. I'm not smart. I'm not a smart person. I'm not smart by any means. I didn't know that would happen, so I'm. So I've got that going on. I've got that guilt on my head. The thing with Mom was I could have gotten a job. I could have gotten a job at a local Kroger because I could walk to it. I didn't. I was like, oh, I'm getting my GED. I'm going to go to college here. I'm going to show you. And I was just I was a fucking asshole. I was just no. I was one of those kids. Yeah, so I could have helped my mom out with something, somehow. So that's my fault. Salem's my fault. Because he ain't stuff. He lost his best friend. And I could have, in Stone Mountain, I could have gotten a cheap bike. I could have tried riding my bike, like, I don't know, an hour or so to try to get somewhere else. There was a Publix that was like an hour bike ride away. I work for Publix now. I could have worked then. We could have had money. We could have avoided all this shit. And so I get here, right? Right. I get here. The bad stuff happens. The hospital stay happens. I'm on medication for my thyroid because it's a synthetic hormone. I can't live without that. I can't live without taking a pill every day. I won't die in a day. I'll die in 8 weeks. So I'm in a very bad mode. I'm in a very bad mood right now. Sorry. Like, every time I try to do something, it backfires. Every time I try to take something, it doesn't work. I threw out the bed frame because it was broken. I tried fixing it, and I was scared, and I was biting me in the ass. I mentioned to my landlord today, and he wasn't happy. I understand he wasn't happy. He said it cost him $600 to get that. I didn't know that. That was 2 years ago. I had no idea. I thought the guy who was here before me left it. I know, stupid to think that, but given the circumstances I was under, it was the logical thing for me to think. To me. So, he hasn't said anything, but I knew I was in trouble. I didn't want a repeat of the dresser situation. So I started panicking. I started crying. I started shaking. I rode my bike over to Henderson to talk with a therapist. I am going to get appointments for more therapy. Try to get a counselor, because I have meltdowns at work. Something will start making me cry, and then I start remembering every bad thing I have. I can't stand seeing mothers and their children. We have cats at the work that are stray cats. One has 3 legs and it's a black cat. So I like the cats, but I can't handle seeing black cats. I can't work Mother's Day because, well, obvious reasons I can't work Mother's Day. And yeah, so I have meltdowns at work, which just involves me crying hysterically, hyperventilating, just like incoherent. Because the thing with Asperger's, we're prone to sensory overloads. Too much stuff going on, we disconnect, and it manifests in different ways. And another thing is, I'm thinking trouble processing stuff. Because it's a social thing, it's a communication thing. And one of the things we have trouble communicating is high emotion states. So you have an Asperger's going through PTSD, you have a loop. You have the PTSD working its way, doing what it does best, and the Asperger's part trying to process it and can't processing it. So it starts panicking, and then the PTSD starts panicking, and just so for me it makes a feedback loop. The Asperger's triggers the PTSD. The PTSD feeds into the Asperger's, and just keeps making yeah. So at work, sometimes I'll be